Hello everyone! Today we are in Cranberry studio. We have Josette as our guest for our magazine interview. I would like you to introduce a little bit about yourself and your background, and you've just been awarded the Best Entrepreneur in Real Estate. It was fantastic, and so we'd like you to talk a little bit about this, and also you just had your exhibition in Gozo. And it was great success. I was there. Can't believe it. So many people were there. It was just like, wow, amazing event. Yes. So tell us.
Okay, then I have two kids. Natasha, she's 26, and Sean is 24. I have my own business, which I landed in it. It's a family business, so since I was exactly out of school, I landed in the family business.
Okay. What business is that?
We do property, we do property development, and also decorate apartments and finish off apartments, which we sell also.
Okay, so this is quite a big sector. Look, it sounds like quite big. And which is your area, strongest area?
Okay, I deal mostly with marketing and the finishing of the apartments, and this is something I truly enjoy.
Yes, that's the artistic side coming out.
That's the artistic side.
Yes.
It's like you turn a house into a home according to the client's requirements.
Okay.
Then I'm also an artist, and that is my favorite part of my life because it's become more of a passion.
Yes.
Art surprises me. Every time I paint, every time I create something new, it's one painting leads you to another, and it's something I truly enjoy doing.
That's great. How long you been painting then, Josette?
I've been painting over about 15 years now.
Wow.
But I took my painting seriously the past 5 years.
Oh,
6 years. And
so that means that was your first exhibition 5 years ago?
My first exhibition was in the end of 2013.
Okay.
And since then I had about 5 exhibitions.
Wow.
So
how was it like having the first exhibition?
the first exhibition, I remember choosing my place where I wanted to exhibit when the art wasn't even ready. And I said, when I was then prepared, I said, gee, that was something, a big step I did but most probably I was very sure of myself then that I could do it. And in fact, it was a successful.
Right.
And that was Reflessi in November 2013. Then I had my second exhibition Against All Odds in 2015. In Country, that was 2015. And since then I had Horizons in London last January.
Yes.
And then after London it was Gozo this year, where I had Illuminixeia.
I was surprised because everybody knows Gozo is such a small island. You know, I go there for holiday. And I just couldn't believe it. There were so many people pour into your exhibition. Wow, yes. How was it like?
It was fantastic because you see a lot of art lovers who just visit the exhibition because you could see that their love for art. It's nice to meet different people, a lot of tourists, and it was interesting, very interesting. It was like a continuation from the London exhibition. I was approached to exhibit in Gozo when the London exhibition was being advertised.
Okay.
But it did well.
Very good. Also. But I know you a little bit. You have a little bit emotion going on before the exhibition, right? Tell us a little bit about it.
The last month, I love preparing the art. That's the fun part of it. The second part, when approaching the media, invites, those are the biggest headaches for me because I don't have the time for it because of work. I know it can't be dedicated fully for the preparations for the exhibition. So I get a bit nervous. The summer even worse because it was hot. It was in the middle of a heat wave. So I say, but then afterwards I just relax and chill out. Then I enjoy it.
So I would like you to talk a little bit about your experience, about your condition, fibromyalgia. Share your little bit your experience with us, because I think this is an invisible condition, and many people don't see that, and it's such a pain when it comes out, right?
Yes, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in the year 2014, November 2014. And actually that is why then in May, the following May, I did the exhibition Against All Odds. And that was a very, very positive message to everyone who is suffering out there. And unfortunately, not only with fibromyalgia, but there's a lot of suffering.
Yes, exactly.
Fibromyalgia is a condition where the joints, the muscles, you get pain all over. It's a chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the same. There are days when you can get a flare-up where it's very, very painful.
Mm-hmm.
Other days when it's milder, but it's constant pain, especially waking up in the morning like you've been hit by a truck. That is the hardest, run over by a truck. And then eventually the pain might ease off or the pain might increase. So it's every day you don't know how you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it changes your life a bit, because anything I'm going to do, I say, am I capable of doing it? Am I strong enough? Am I going to be good enough to do this task, or would it be too much?
Yes.
But in 3 years, I'm learning more about myself through fibromyalgia. I know when it's time for me to rest. You have to listen to your body.
Yes.
And never give up. That's the most important thing.
No.
So just to be positive in everything I said. I always say, it could have been something worse. This is something I can handle. And I want to handle it. I want to get hope. I want to get cured. And I feel that eventually I will. Painting helps me because it relaxes me and I forget the pain whenever I'm painting. I just really relax. And there were days where I was in pain and I still painted, but it sort of alienates me.
Take your mind off because you're so concentrated on what you're creating.
On what I'm creating.
Mm-hmm.
And many times even the painting itself, I paint a lot of positivity in the art. I put a lot of light, white, because to me like a white light, that's the hope. And there's hope for being better. And it works. It totally works.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
The light at the end of the tunnel. And so I do not see it as a big burden. I just say, every day I'm going to be better. And if today's a hard day, tough luck. Tomorrow's going to be a better one.
Very good.
So it's the way to look at life in general.
Positive. Yes, that's the attitude to cope
That's
with
right.
that. Yes. So it can be like you go to a meeting and you have this pain, but nobody knows.
That's right. And it's useless describing the condition. Because if people ask you, how are you? Do they really want to know how I am, or is just a way of saying, how are you? So I say, it's just saying, so I just, you act as if nothing's wrong and keep on going. And that's it. It's just, in a way, sometimes you wish to be understood more because it doesn't show. So people wouldn't know that you really, there are days when are very hard. Yet again, then I know how to protect myself. When it's one of those days, I just say, today I cannot handle meetings, so I just have to postpone them, and that's it. So you start finding a balance, learn more about yourself, and finding a balance, and mostly respecting yourself, loving yourself enough to say, I cannot do this today.
Exactly.
I will do it tomorrow. And it's not like being hard on yourself, because the more you fight it, the more you're in pain, and you try to pretend you're okay and you're not okay, the pain is going to increase and you get more agitated. The more you agitate, but it's
just a vicious circle.
It's a vicious circle. That's right. So I'd rather, most it's like self-love. You have to love yourself in whatever you do, and I think that is in life in general.
Yes. Exactly.
That we have to respect ourselves more, to say, I need to rest. And that's it. There's nothing wrong with resting.
Because when we have a happy person, happy business person, or happy artist, we can have better results.
That's right. So,
so the next thing we want to talk about your art. So there must be times, like you say you painted 15 years, right?
Yeah.
But you only had your first exhibition is 2013.
Yeah.
So there was a long period of time you did not show any of your work to public.
The thing is, it was more of a hobby. I used to go to the studio, just paint and create work, but not to exhibit. I would never dream of saying I'm an artist. I would never dream of an exhibition, never. It was just relaxing for me to learn a new medium, and that's it. Slowly I started sketching more, practicing more, and then it started becoming more of a passion than a hobby. And I cannot describe my art as a hobby anymore, for sure.
No,
Because it's part of my life.
Your
now.
heart and soul in it.
That's
It's
right.
not a hobby
that's
anymore.
right. In fact, I put a lot of emotions in my art. If I'm angry, if I am frustrated, it comes out. It goes. So every piece of art, I can say what I was feeling that day. Lately, they're very tranquil, so that's good news. That's like very relaxed thing.
I noticed that when I was in your exhibition, people can relate to your art so much. They can look at your painting and feel, I was like that. You know, just through your painting. It's amazing. Do you have some advice for young artists if they have this barrier, like they are afraid to show their work? They don't want to put their art out there to be criticized. People might laugh at them. What would you recommend? What would you say?
Okay, I think the biggest obstacle in life is fear. Once we eliminate the fear and say, I'm going out there, come what may. There are people who won't like my art, but it's they're going out there in the public. I think once we eliminate the fear, then we're okay. We have to believe in ourselves. Art is unique. So whoever is creating that piece of work, there shouldn't be anything like it. So why the fear? Why the fear of being judged? We should be more forward about it. And we should encourage more artists to paint. That's very important.
Yes.
That's very important. When I see from at a young age children really interested in learning art, I really encourage them, and because art is beautiful.
So if you had to consider being an artist as a full-time job, also putting aside all the struggles that might come to mind, etc., would you consider it?
I'm not sure because I have this fear that once you go full-time, you go commercial, then I wouldn't be creating the art with such passion, with such emotions. So in a way it's interesting because it takes me away from my desk and I'll just be in my studio, and I love being in my studio, but at the same time there is that balance which makes me from work looking forward to going to the studio, and the same from the studio looking forward for Monday to meet people and so I'm not sure yet if I should consider going full-time.
Okay. So any more questions? We're taking question now. Okay. So
do you ever find it difficult to translate your feelings? Because you're saying you're getting your emotions down. Do you ever find it difficult to actually put it? No.
Not really, because I prepare myself, like before starting a painting, I always just sit down for 15 minutes, have a coffee and just think and meditate what I plan to paint. It's not like something I plan from 2 days before. I say on Saturday I want to paint a seascape. I'd rather at that particular moment create what I would want to create. And that is why sometimes it's much more fun creating your own, putting your own emotions on canvas and having a commission where you are, forced to paint what the people want you to paint. So I'd rather paint my emotions.
Before you were exhibiting your work, and in the time that you started to exhibit your work, do you approach your work differently knowing that, or do you feel it's the same as before you were exhibiting, the way you approach the work and the way, or because you know now that people are gonna, look at that, like, was there any
The
difference?
first exhibition, yes, it was like, is this all exhibition standard? I wanted to make sure, because whenever I'm organizing an exhibition, I wanted to be professional. And that is where I invite people at my studio, artists, established artists, to see my work, to get their opinion, curators. It helps me to make sure that everything is top-notch. Nowadays I got more confidence, so that was my first exhibition. Now I would know myself that it is exhibition standard. At first it was going from one doctor to the next, trying different medication, trying different diets, and it was like going around in circles,
Yeah.
in panic. What am I going to do? How am I going to get better? And the more I'm panicking, the more the pain is increasing. Because it all is affected from the nervous system. If we're stressed, then the pain increases. Finally, I think I have found the balance.
Yeah.
It's just, taking care of myself and time for meditation, time for exercise, time to be by the sea. I love the
and
sea.
you're managing all of that.
And then I found a way to reduce the pain as much as possible. There were very few paintings which were slightly darker.
Yeah.
when
No,
was
I
passing
saw
through.
quite a few.
Okay, but they were very turbulent. They tell me that. They say, because I remember once there was a person who wanted to give me the best wishes for Christmas and the New Year. He was an Italian doctor, and he sent me a message saying, "I hope you have another turbulent year." And I said, "Gee," in fact, I said, "What are you talking about? How would you like to wish me a turbulent?" A year full of turbulence.
Yeah.
He said, because with your turbulence you create such fantastic works.
It's true, but they say that when artists been through a most difficult time, they work just the most glorious ones. Yes. Yeah, so when you're in pain, actually you're creating those valuable stuff,
There were days,
Just like you explained.
there were days where I was very much in pain and I still wanted to challenge myself. Yes, I can paint, but I could hardly lift my hand and keep the brush. And that is where I placed my canvas on the floor. I went on my knees. I said, okay, and use my hands. And literally, there I painted and cried at the same time. But yet, fantastic work came out. So I still see the positive in all that. So that's the main thing.
Yes, that's fantastic. So where's the painting now?
The painting is hanging at my home because I wouldn't sell it.
Yes.
Actually, it's two paintings. It's a diptych. And it was using different materials, different inks and acrylics, and even using the hairdryer and it came out really beautiful.
So when you
I have memories of that painting.
Yeah.
I say that was when I had one of my very, very difficult days, but since then I only got better.
yes, but when you look at the painting, you have it in the house, and that was like painful memory or not? No. How do you see it?
Beautiful creation.
Even you have so much pain when you're creating it.
I think it's amazing that you have the visual, how do you put it? That was one of your hardest days. You managed to create something amazing, and then you have this in front of you. Look, that was on my hardest day that I created one of my favorite things. That's really cool. It shows you that you're a champion. That's what I would see that painting as.
I think just bringing out the positivity in everything, and that's how it should be in life. And
never give
a
up.
hard day, you just make the best out of it.
There's another question I want to ask. So this has been how many times we doing this interview? I think this second time or the third time, second time, right? So what's your experience?
Well, I have a fear of
But you
cameras.
have other interviews,
I
right?
have had several interviews.
Yes.
But I have a fear of cameras.
Fear of cameras. So let's talk about it.
it. Because when I come for a photo shoot, it's fine. But when it's just a camera and I have to speak on the camera, I just panic. I blank.
You're blind.
Sometimes it's a bit with the fibrofocus. So fibromyalgia, you can have this brain fog at times.
Yeah.
So then I panic if it happens to me while I'm being interviewed. Sometimes it does.
Okay.
Anyway,
But
I felt very comfortable here.
very good because we are all good companies, right? So thank you, Josette, for coming today, and we're really honored to have you. You have a lot of fantastic achievement, and we hope to see more in the future.
Pleasure. Thanks a lot.
So that's all for today. So we'll see you next time. Bye bye.